Oh hey, didn't see you there. I'm Dan, and today we're going to make a luxurious pork stir fry that won't make your wallet hate you. Let's get into it. Okay, so starting off with our ingredients, we have some lovely cut pork chops. We have some broccoli florets, steamable, from Aldi. We have some soy sauce, also from Aldi, an onion, probably Aldi, ginger, Aldi, garlic, cornstarch, baking soda, switching it up with the dollar store version. We got some sugar. Next thing, we got some rice vinegar from my local Asian market, and some salt and pepper. A lot of this stuff I already had. I would consider it just essentials. Soy sauce is an essential. You could either, go to a store and get some, or if you want to be extra thrifty, you could go whenever you get the odd and end Chinese food. Just save as many packets as you can, put them in the drawer, and use them at your leisure, so long as your wife doesn't throw them out because she doesn't because she thinks that you're hoarding soy sauce packets. The pork chops themselves, I think, were about $5.97, and the broccoli florets can range you anywhere from 75 cents to about $1.19. And I got 2 bags. But all of this stuff, you can get a lot of this stuff at the dollar store. Baking soda, dollar store. Cornstarch, dollar store. Sugar, dollar store. Some of the fresh produce, probably not so much, but that's where Aldi comes in handy. And even then, apart from maybe the ginger, I think the majority of families would have onions and garlic at their disposal. The rice vinegar, I would consider that another essential. That is something you would probably not find mixed in with the hot mustard and the duck sauce, and the soy sauce. But I think that was only about maybe $3 I got that bottle for. So everything together here, in total, the whole bot price was probably around $7. All right, moving right along, we're going to make sure we sharpen our knife here so we can make clean cuts. We're going to julienne our onion. Julienne just is a fancy term that means thin cuts. We're going to do 2 cuts to the side of the onion, and then you're going to flip your onion over and just start doing your thin cuts, keeping in mind your fingers so they do not get cut off. Keep doing this until your onions look like this. We're doing our mise en place right now, getting all of our ingredients together. Make sure you crush that garlic, get the skin off of there, and we are going to just chop these very finely. I'm not going to do a rough chop, dicing them super small because I don't want them to burn in the pan. So basically something like this. Pretty good. Ginger is always a tough one. If you don't know what you're doing, you're going to cut a little piece off, whatever section you want. You're going to take a household spoon, and then you're just going to scrape off that outer shell, making sure to get all of that skin off because you don't want any of that in your final dish. And then with this, I'm just going to try to mince it very finely. Mince is another fancy term for cut small. Moving on to our pork chops, you're going to want to make sure we're going to do the same thing here in our prep. We're just going to, being mindful of our fingers, we are going to start chopping this very thinly, almost razor thin, sort of like what I want my waistline to be, but we ain't there yet. You know how it is. I've been trying to do hot girl summer for the past 5 summers. Next, we're going to make the marinade for our pork here. We're going to start out with some soy sauce. Hopefully you put it in a clean bowl like I did. Make sure you're washing your hands, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to add a little bit of soy sauce, a little bit of our rice vinegar, just a tad. I added a little bit too much. Bit of salt. Shake it up in there. And then baking soda. Now, what the baking soda is going to do is it's going to make that pork nice and velvety. You're going to want to add as much as you feel like you need, and then we're going to mix that all up until it coats every piece of pork, and it's going to add that very soft, very velvety finish to the pork once we put it into our wok. We are going to make our rice. I didn't put this on there, but you can get rice at the dollar store. You can get it for very cheap, depending on how much you want. I'm just doing, I think, 2 cups of rice here. Make sure you wash your rice and the water's clear. Then you are going to fill the water up to that point of your finger, and you will have perfect rice every time. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to turn on our stove, put a little bit of water in a pan. You could just throw the broccoli in the microwave, as it says on the back. I did not do that because I wanted to be extra fancy and put it in a pan and steam it away slowly and methodically in a pan. The next part of what we're doing in our mise en place, and mise en place is simply just getting all of your ingredients ready, I'm pretty sure, before you cook them. But don't quote me on that. So while our broccoli's steaming away, we're going to make our sauce for our stir fry. Get yourself a little bowl. We're going to do soy sauce. Probably 2/3 of whatever thing you're using for soy sauce. A little bit of that mirin, that rice vinegar. We're going to use pepper. Next thing, sugar we're going to use. This is all according to your taste. You might want a little bit more vinegar. You might want a little bit more soy sauce. You might want a little bit more sugar. Always make sure you're tasting stuff. I tasted it and it needed a little bit more sugar, so that's why I put more in there. I was adjusting it to my taste. The next thing we're making is a cornstarch slurry. What this is going to do is just cornstarch and water. Mix it all up, and this is going to thicken our sauce without adding any sort of taste to it. It's just a sauce thickener. That's all it is. Now for the actual stir fry, we're going to take our wok. We're going to make sure that's heated up all the way. It's going to start smoking. We're going to add our neutral oil. I believe I'm using canola, heart healthy. And then we're going to make sure we cover the whole pan with our oil so nothing sticks. This did not work the first time because things did stick. We're going to start with putting all of our vegetables in there, making sure that they are all nice and brown. I don't like, you got to keep moving the pan around. I like to do this so nothing sticks. Also too, so things don't get too dark or burnt, because once garlic and ginger and onions, they start getting burnt, they're not quite as appetizing as they would be otherwise. So you can see I'm really shaking it around. I'm really moving it, making sure that it's coming up from the pan. I'm going to do this in stages. So after our vegetables are thoroughly browned and cooked through, we're going to remove that from the pan. Now we're going to add a little bit more oil. It's probably not heart healthy if you're adding this much oil to the pan. But this is going to help with not having our food stick. We're going to put our pork in there, marinate and all. Make sure you move it around, especially in whatever cooking utensil. You want to make sure your meat is flat against the pan so it all can cook evenly and all get a little bit of that brown on there. Because as Gordon Ramsay once said, no color, no flavor. And that's what we're trying to do. I know it looks bland right now, but that's just because I didn't make the edit yet to where it looks more brown. Now it looks brown. And after it's brown, you put your vegetables back in, and then we're going to mix everything up. Our broccoli has been steamed. Might I add, it took about 20 minutes for me as opposed to the 5 minutes a microwave would have done. But it's all good. After we have all of our broccoli and our vegetables in, after we have all of our things, we're going to mix everything together. Then we're going to add our sauce. Now, this, I don't know if this might happen to you. It happened to me after I started stirring everything around and making sure that everything was evenly coated. I realized I didn't have enough sauce, so I went back, filled the rest up just with some soy sauce, and put some more of the sauce in there. You can see it start to bubble away. We're going to let that cook all nice and get it all nice and coated and covered. Let that cook away for a little bit, maybe a couple minutes, and then you're going to put in your cornstarch slurry. This is where you're going to see magic happen, or for lack of a better word, before humans could understand it, this is called science. And what the scientific thing that's happening is that cornstarch slurry, that's going to start to thicken the sauce, as I stated before. You can see it started to get thick, and making sure that sauce gets over every single piece. So it coats the rice. It coats the rice. It doesn't fall off the rice. It coats it. It's like a coat on a winter day, this food. Making sure that it's all good. Beautiful. Beautiful. Then we're just going to get a bowl or whatever. You can use a plate. You can use a piece of cardboard, whatever you want. Get your rice. Top that off with your beautiful pork stir fry. Looks delightful. And then I decided to use chopsticks. You can use a fork. You can let it cool down and use your hands. I'm not here to judge. Doesn't that look beautiful? And look at that. Look at that. Based on everything that we have so far, this meal cost you around $7 to feed your family. Might I add, this meal also lasted us a couple of days. So not only are you making it just for now, you're making it for you and your family for a couple days as well. I mean, unless you like to eat a lot, but that's neither here nor there. Thank you for watching.